Hi, this is a video about the cQ-Vertex volume indicator. This is the default setting, and this is what you probably are used to seeing if you know this indicator at all. It does a real good job at getting out the chop, and sometimes it takes off a little bit too much. So I added a few things to help with that. Or as you can see back here, that these colors are different, but blue is bi and orange is cell. If it's above the line, they're bright. If it's below it, they're not. So you can see that there. What I've added, one of the things, is this response variable, which you can move it down, and it changes how it responds. It's similar to what before, like for example, changing this to 5 or so will give you a lot more possible entry points, but it also generates a lot of noise. So I'm just gonna put it to 30 and set this to 0, for example. You get that. You're still cutting out some of this. You know, your confirmation indicators are going to have to remove some of it as well, but if you change it back to 3, you can see what it does. And like I said, if you go here and put this to 5, you generate all this extra noise, which you can reduce. I mean, you have to play with the indicator and find the setting that works for your system. Or the other thing that I added, there's actually a few different vertex out there. And one of them, the default setting is an EMA, and the other one, the default setting is SMMA. So just add a line, and it says there, obviously it's kind of fast, you'd miss it, but here you'd get in, you know, it's generating a signal there, still generating signal. Possibly there, if you, it even, now it makes it there, but if you did it, put this back, your algorithm might not catch it. It might be too far away from the baseline. So it sort of gives you a little bit more playroom, wiggle room there. And the other thing that it does, like, for example, if you can change the response using a different moving average. This, for example, you would get that. I mean, you would get this, which it's worth doing. But if you had this, say if you were using the default one, you wouldn't get it. Your system would just be a slower system. I even have this one, which is incredibly fast. It's a little bit too much. You can play around with it. You know, you'd have to change probably the trend period. Maybe put that up to there. I don't know. You'd have to mess with it, and you know, it just responds differently. And to each his own. You just got to find one that works for you. So we'll put it back to here. The other thing I added was these trigger level, you know, to cut off some of the. I'll just put it at 1 to start off. It gets rid of some of this extra noise here. That again, if you may want to have that, you can change the type, for example. You can make it slower, or you can make it a little faster. And that way you might get that there. All depends on, again, what your system calls for. But this can help remove some of the noise as well. It also has you can use one band, which again is different. You can raise it up pretty high and just get a few signals or put it wherever you think it needs to be. And then this is the same thing as the other. I just call it the no trade. So it's just this line here. You can raise that up. So, and then you can, this doesn't have as much of an effect. I left it in just because, in case anybody wondered, they can just try it for themselves. You can go through these. It does affect it, not as much as I thought, but it's still, you can, one candle might be enough, be the difference between it working and or not working. So you can mess with that as well. Also, if you're doing an expert advisor, from here down, all these you don't need to pass to the indicator if you're using the iCustom function. You just need the first, just these numbers from here down to here. These you don't even need to add, they'll just remain what they are. And the buffer of interest is, I think it's 7. So that's it.